Our movie begins with Idil, a sweet young woman, sitting with her boyfriend Kerem. Kerem is extremely materialistic and tells her, "You've dedicated your whole life to work, and yet you haven't made any money up until now." Idil replies, "Money isn't everything, Kerem." The conversation ends, but the next morning she wakes up to find a note from him saying he's leaving her. On her way to work, she's shocked to see him cheating on her with another woman. Days go by until one day she meets her friend Zeynep, who drags her along to work. At the same time, we see Saisal talking with her brother Omer. She tells him, "My wedding with Kerem is coming up soon, and I'm heading out now to prepare the dress." Omer responds, "I need to meet Kerem first, but I love you no matter what, my dear sister." He hangs up and heads to see his grandmother, Mrs. Mujahide. She criticizes him, saying, "What is this awful design on the bottle? We're celebrating 100 years since the founding of our company, and this design is completely unacceptable." Omer calmly reassures her, "I agree with you, Grandma. Don't worry." Meanwhile, at the company, Sanem, Idil's colleague, announces that a businesswoman who owns several companies is visiting today, and she's also known for her generosity and charity work. Idil goes to her manager, who is secretly jealous of her, and asks if she was requested to attend the meeting with the businesswoman. The manager answers, "Yes, I called for you because you're not that pretty, so you won't make the client feel insecure. You're like two chubby girls standing next to a slim one." Later, we see them all gathered in the meeting. The manager and her assistant present designs to Saisal, while Idil focuses carefully on Saisal's expressions and body language, thinking to herself, it's clear she loves simplicity and wants something that reflects authenticity and motherly love. Saisal doesn't like what she hears and is about to leave, but Idil stops her and says, "I'll add pearls to the dress for you." She begins describing how the dress will look on Saisal, detailing all the designs she'll incorporate, to the point that Saisal feels as if she's already wearing it. Before leaving, she says to Idil, "I'm really excited about the dress. Thank you so much." The manager calls her to her office, and there she asks, "What's your deal, girl? Why didn't you share this idea with me? You left me to present it to the client. I guess I'll have to fire you." Idil sarcastically mocks her a little as she yells, then tries to talk some sense into her until the manager says, "Get out now and call my assistant, Mart." As Idil leaves, she realizes that Saisal has come back to get her scarf. Saisal tells her that there's less than a month until the wedding, and the dress needs to be ready quickly. The big shock, though, is when she finds out that Kerem is Saisal's fiancé. This crushes her spirit and leaves her devastated. She goes back to the manager and tells her, "I can't design Saisal's dress." The manager ignores her, while Mart reads aloud the praise the manager wrote about her, saying she will thank her in an upcoming meeting. Idil snaps back, saying, "I've been working with you for years, saved you in many situations, and most of the successful designs in this company were mine." The manager replies, "You're just a rat running in a maze, doing its job and getting paid." Idil angrily retorts, and Idil snaps back angrily, saying, "Look here, Cinderella's stepmother, I'm sick of what you're doing, and I won't accept the stepmother treatment you keep giving me." The manager says, "Go ahead, you're fired." Idil replies, "I've already resigned. Are you crazy or what?" She leaves the company, feeling a mix of joy, happiness, and sadness. Now, pay attention, dear viewer. She's not holding a purse or anything. She gets into her car to leave, singing some cheerful songs. And then she cries a bit, but in a way that's almost cheerful too. On the other side, we see Omer hitting his car while his fiancée is with him, and he's trying to comfort her, but she feels like her life is over. Later, we learn that he remembers this moment when we see Idil bumping into him from behind because he's blocking the road. She gets out of her car and says, "Hey, move it. The road is clear. You might cause someone's life to end because of you." Her words hurt Omer deeply, making him think of his fiancée. He apologizes to Idil, and she responds, "Stop drinking that nonsense. It's not even morning yet." Then they both drive off in their cars. Later, we see her sitting with Agit in his restaurant, crying a little in a way that's almost refreshing. Agit's role in the movie is as the girl's guy. Whenever any of them faces a bad situation, they go to him for emotional support, to vent their anger, and to get encouraged to move on with their lives. Since he owns a restaurant, his friends call him Lengoani. He tells her, "You've been crying for an hour. That's enough now, my dear. You worked for a big company for years and did a lot of great work, so any company would love to have you." After a while, her friends show up, and Zeynep says, "You forgot your bag at the company. Here it is." Then she adds, "You must have been drinking if you told the manager all that stuff." Idil replies, "I did it with my broken heart. When I saw Kerem with Saisal, I was crushed and I lost control of my emotions. I spent a whole month cursing him, and in the end, he ends up with someone like Saisal. That boy is a waste, a cheater, the son of a cheater." They all cry together a little, in a typical girl's way, and then Lengoni says, "Come on, girls, let's go." He takes them to the disco so they can unwind a bit, and we see them dancing together joyfully. Idil imagines Kerem is in front of her, so she goes and slaps him. Another man appears, seemingly ready to hit her, but Langoni steps in and saves her. He takes the girls and they leave the disco. The next morning, Cecil calls Idil and tells her, "I heard you left your job. I don't care if the one making my dress is an independent girl like you or a big company. What matters to me is that you make it yourself and finish it just as you promised." She hangs up, and the girls all start complaining, wondering how she can design a dress for her ex-husband's wife, something that doesn't sit right with them. Sanem, her friend, takes the phone and begins writing a message to Cecil, letting her know that she was once Kerem's girlfriend. But Idil grabs the phone and says, "I'll make the dress for her, but she won't wear it." She imagines that once she finishes the dress, she'll tell Cecil that Kerem isn't a good person. She snaps out of her daydreaming, and Langoni tells her, "Your relationship with her isn't deep enough for her to believe what you're saying." Then, they discuss possible solutions, but they disagree on how to handle things. Langoni suggests, first, you need to spend time with Cecil to earn her trust. Second, we need to distance her from Kerem and keep an eye on him. Zeynep chimes in, "Yes, and he'll definitely cheat on her like he did with Idil. Then we'll take a picture of him cheating and send it to her." We then cut to Omer, who's sitting with a friend, asking him to investigate Kerem because he's not comfortable with him. His friend agrees, saying, "I'll take care of this for you." Omer adds, "I've already done some digging, but I couldn't find anything on him. That's why I need you to take over." We return to the girls as they sit with Langoni. A confrontation occurs between Sanem and Langoni, and Idil says, "Why don't you two just get married and leave us alone?" Since they're not showing their love for each other, they feel awkward. Langoni says to Sanem, "I need you to find out everything about Cecil." She then arranges for a thief to steal Cecil's purse. She brings it back to them and says, "I got you all the information. Her emails, passwords, addresses, everything." They tell her, "We wanted you to get information about her life, not run a full background check." When Idil comes in with the coffee, she objects too, saying, "We can't treat Cecil like this." After some back and forth, they all agree that Idil should get closer to Cecil and earn her trust, while the girls will keep an eye on Kerem until they catch him with another woman and expose him in front of Cecil and her family. Langoni tells Idil, "In that case, invite Cecil to lunch at my restaurant." That's exactly what happens, and the two of them sit down and talk. Idil asks her, "Isn't your fiancé going to join us?" Cecil replies, "The groom isn't supposed to see the bride's dress." Idil likes her response and then asks, "What would you like to drink?" Cecil says, "The fact that you even asked me that shows you don't know anything about me. Usually, people care about me only because of some hidden agenda, since my family owns a beverage company and we're very wealthy. But you seem like a good person, and I'd like you to be my friend, Idil." Just then, Cecil gets a call saying they've found her bag. She explains that her brother dropped her off and won't be able to pick her up until late, and she needs to go collect it. Idil offers to take her, and that's exactly what happens. They go to the police station. Meanwhile, Sanem and Zeynep pretend to be the ones who found the bag, while Idil acts like she doesn't know them. The whole situation passes smoothly, and Cecil thanks them before leaving. She then meets her brother Omer, the handsome young man full of morals and virtues, and introduces him to Idil. He asks her, "Haven't we met before?" And she replies, "No." As they head down the stairs, Cecil speaks highly of Kerem, while Omer doesn't feel at ease about him. Later, Idil talks to Langoni and tells him, "You're coming with me to Antalya." At the airport, she explains that Cecil invited her to design the dress at her home, which is an excellent opportunity. Kerem walks into a restaurant with the girls secretly following him, and honestly, I can't understand how their undercover skills are this good. It's almost flawless. They chat a bit of typical girl talk that we don't need to get into, while Kerem tells the waiter, "My wedding will be in Antalya. I wish I could invite you, bro." Meanwhile, the girls, as usual, start bickering with each other the way any two girls would anywhere, dear viewer. On the other side, Cecil welcomes Langoni and Idil, telling him, "I know your restaurant, Mr. Langoni, and I follow your page. You're famous everywhere." He glances at Idil with a look that says, "See how cool I am, girl," and then tells Cecil, "I did some research about your family and learned you own a beverage company. I'd love to try your products while I'm here, and if I like them, maybe we can collaborate." Cecil offers him a stay at their house, but he politely declines, saying he prefers to stay at the hotel. He leaves with class and elegance. A little later, Langoni speaks openly about his intentions with all his sisters, keeping them updated on the plan's progress. Idil and Zeynep stand up, while Langoni and Sanem pretend they're their phone froze so they can keep sitting together. From their conversation, we realize there's some chemistry between them, and they're on the verge of falling in love. Pay close attention, dear viewer. The next morning, we see Omer speaking with his sister when Lengoni and Idil arrive. They greet each other with warm respect, full of courtesy and kindness. Omer asks, "What would you like to drink?" They reply, "Plain coffee." Meanwhile, the girls are spying on Kerem again, but this time with incredibly irritating clumsiness. I've honestly never seen such foolishness in my life. They sit at a spot with Kerem right behind them. Sanem pulls out her phone to take his picture, and sure enough, a woman approaches Kerem. The girls celebrate, thrilled that they finally caught him. They snap a bunch of incriminating photos, classic evidence of cheating, dear friends. May God spare us all from such pictures, because in this day and age, once you're caught, there's no coming back. And let me tell you, dear viewer, women have become very clever, so don't think you can play around one way or the other. At night, we see Lengoni walking with Omer and Idil. After a while, he takes the hint, says goodbye, and leaves them to enjoy the moment together. Omer tells her, "I've never seen my sister so excited about anything the way she is about her wedding and the dress. Thanks to you, she'll be happy on her big day, and I'm sure if our mother were alive, she would have loved you very much." Just then, Idil gets a call from her friends telling her they caught Kerem on camera with another woman. The next day, she's sitting with her dear friend Lengoni, waiting for the pictures. When they open them, Idil is shocked to realize that the woman with Kerem is actually mine, his cousin, not someone he's cheating with. Later, she's at Omer's house, where he shows her the designs the agency created for their company. She tells him, "These designs are awful. You need to drop this agency right away. Look, bro, we can change this and that and make it so much better." Love sparks in their eyes as they exchange glances. Just then, Cecil arrives and takes Idil to work on the wedding dress together. While Idil is fitting her into the gown, Cecil speaks beautifully about Kerem, saying he's the love of her life, the man who changed everything for her, who makes her happy, and that he's truly a good person. Idil asks, "How long have you known him?" Cecil replies, "For a year." At that moment, Idil realizes Kerem had already been cheating on her when they were together. Kerem calls her, and she answers, "Oh, you've arrived in Antalya? I'm on my way to meet you." Soon after, she comes up with an idea and slips into her elegant black dress, telling Lengoni, "I just got a brilliant plan, bro. We've been trying to dig up some ex-girlfriend of Kerem's while I'm right here. Why don't we just lure him into meeting with me? That way, we'll save ourselves a lot of effort and prove he's no good." That evening, Kerem shows up and says, "What's going on? Why did you call me?" She replies, "Come on, let's grab a drink with Melody." Surprised, he frowns. So she repeats, "Let's go somewhere quiet and empty, just the two of us. I want to shock you with some updates, Kerem." Kerem tells her, "No, sweetheart. Surprise me right here." Of course, Lengoni is sitting off to the side, ready to record everything and expose Kerem. Just as she's about to shock him, he says, "You know what? I really am surprised. You're wearing my favorite dress, my favorite perfume. Now tell me, where's the camera you're hiding? You've set up this whole scene, sent your foolish friends to spy on me, and you think I wouldn't notice your silly little plan? Listen, I truly love Cecil. I will never abandon her, and I'm not leaving her. I want you to understand that clearly." He walks away, leaving Idil furious. She tells Lengoni, "Can you please leave me alone so I can process what just happened?" He doesn't want to leave, but she yells at him so harshly that he finally walks away. Better to leave with dignity in the first place, right? Idil then goes off and gets completely drunk. Totally wasted. Omer is stunned to find her in his room. She tells him, "Hey, handsome, am I going to keep imagining you forever? You're way too good looking, unbelievably charming, the king of looks, morals, and virtues." He gently covers her up and lets her sleep it off on the chair in his room. The next morning, she wakes up surprised to find him beside her, and she quickly jumps up. He jokes, "Am I really that bad looking in the morning that you're running away from me?" She apologizes, saying, "I'm sorry, bro. Forgive me. I was so drunk, I didn't even realize I walked into your room." With all his charm, Omer replies, "It's better if I make you some coffee," and then leaves the room. They sit together in the courtyard of their humble villa, sipping coffee and sharing some lovely conversation. And let me just say, dear viewer, as I was watching the film, writing, and editing, every single time Omer made coffee, I found myself jealous and ended up making some too, until it backfired and gave me stomach problems. Anyway, Idil suddenly realizes Kerem has arrived at the modest villa, so she quickly gets up and leaves. As usual, she goes straight to Lengoni to cry her heart out again, just like always. She tells him, How could you leave me drowning in all these problems alone while you just sleep here like that? Am I going to be alone my whole life? Or what? Aren't you supposed to be my friend? Langoni's face says it all, as if he's silently replying. Girl, I was right there with you yesterday. You're the one who pushed me away. Anyway, dear viewer, don't even try to understand women because they don't understand themselves. The girls show up and start planning what to do next to expose Kerem's truth. They finally agree that the solution is to make Seysel's own family oppose the marriage, since Seysel is blinded by love and can't see Kerem for who he really is. The next morning, Idil goes to Omer and tells him, "Today is my day off, and I was thinking of going out." He replies, "This city has so many beautiful places. Let me take you out and show you around." She goes out with Omer, giving him innocent glances, trying to charm her way in. Pay attention here, dear viewer. After their outing, she returns to her room only to be shocked to find Grandma Mujahide sitting there waiting for her. The grandmother tells her point blank, "Why are you circling around my grandson Omer? Speak. What's your purpose?" She adds, "Do whatever you want, but stay away from Omer." Idil doesn't quite understand, so the grandmother continues, "I know you came here to separate Seysel from Kerem, and I know he's not a good man, but I don't have proof. The stage is yours. Do whatever you want. But my grandson Omer, no, don't go near him. I barely managed to get him back on his feet after his fiancée's life ended." When Idil asks, "Then why don't you stop Seysel from marrying Kerem?" the grandmother replies, "I can't stop her without evidence. She'll hate me, and I don't want that. And I repeat, stay away from Omer. I finally got him to become whole again after his fiancée died in that car accident with the tree, just like we saw at the beginning, dear viewer." Idil sits on the chair, sad about Omer's situation. Later, she goes to him and says, "I came to apologize. I didn't know," then leaves. Honestly, dear viewer, I don't really understand what this scene is supposed to mean, but I thought I'd include it for you anyway. The next day at lunch, Seysel asks Kerem, "Aren't you going to invite your relatives?" And since liars always forget, he replies, "I don't have any relatives at all. Not cousins, not even female cousins." At this point, Idil tells us, "So he kept cheating on me for 9 months with mine, who I thought was my cousin." As usual, she gathers her friends to tell them what happened. She's happy while doing it, but suddenly Kerem shows up, clapping sarcastically, saying, "Bravo! You've formed a little gang against me." Everyone leaves them alone, and he says to her, "Understand this. We broke up, and I don't love you. Leave me alone, please." She shows him a picture and says, "Take a look at this." He replies, "That's mine, my cousin." But she responds, "You said at lunch you don't have any cousins. Forgot already?" He pleads with her, "Please, Idil, understand me. I love Seysel. Don't expose me in front of her. I beg you. I'll do anything you want." Idil tells him, "I'll give you until tonight to disappear from this town and leave her alone." Later, she talks to her friends, and when they ask why she didn't just send the pictures to Seysel right away, she says, "I didn't want to hurt Seysel's feelings. I thought if Kerem left on his own, it would be better, because she'll be crushed if she finds out he's been cheating when they've only been together for less than a year." After that, she goes to Omer and shows him the beautiful designs she created. He's impressed, and Idil focuses on his expressions while he looks them over. He takes her with him to dinner, where they're waiting for Kerem, who shamelessly shows up anyway. That's when Idil decides to escalate the situation. She stands up and says, "I want to tell you something. The truth is, I know Kerem, and we were once in a relationship." She shows Seysel the pictures with mine, the same girl Kerem claims is his cousin, and says, "This is the girl he cheated on me with, and now he's cheating on you with her." Kerem quickly jumps in. "Baby, I'll explain everything. First, I'm sorry I didn't tell you that Idil is my ex, but I didn't want to ruin our happiness before the wedding because of a stalker who keeps chasing me." At that moment, Mine walks in, greeting everyone. Kerem says, "Let me introduce you to my cousin Mine. She came all the way here just to attend my wedding. Here are our IDs to prove our relation." And just like that, Idil finds herself in an embarrassing situation, humiliated as the tension fills the room. Seysel coldly tells her, "Idil, get out." On her way back, Kerem meets her at the airport and smugly says, "Didn't I tell you, sweetheart, you'd lose?" Idil sleeps on the couch, heartbroken. The wedding day arrives. Everything seems to go perfectly until Omer's friend shows up with a surprise. Grandma plays a video recording of Kerem confessing to Mine, saying, "I love you, girl, and I'll buy you the car you want. But I can't leave Seysel. She's filthy rich, and I have to marry her. Once I do, I'll drain her for every cent she has." The moment Seysel hears this, she storms off, devastated. Omer confronts Kerem, punches him square in the face, and his friend drags him out. Grandma then says, "Now I'm finally at peace knowing my granddaughter is safe. I think it's time to make sure my grandson is happy too. It's clear Idil loves you. Go to her and win her heart, my boy." That night, as the group of friends sit together happily, Seysel approaches Idil and says, "If you hadn't stepped into my life, I would have lived miserably. Thank you for saving me from the toxic relationship I was trapped in." Later, Omer shows Idil that he's printed her design onto their company's bottles and offers her a position to run their marketing department. That way, our oil and flour stay in the same pot, he says with a smile. The film ends with them sitting on the beach together, sipping their favorite drink. And to you, dear viewers, may you all be blessed with such a story full of lessons. What a beautiful tale of wisdom indeed.